What's happening, chat? It's Wednesday night. Welcome to the basement. Welcome to the midweek stream. Hope you guys are ready for a good one. I think you will feel better by the end of the stream, Brooke. I think you will. Got all kinds of fun stuff to talk about, rumors and leaks and all that kind of cool stuff. So prepare in the following manner. Fill your cup and light your smoke. Because it's Wednesday night here in the basement. And it's time to get nerdy. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the basement here on this Wednesday evening, at least this evening where I'm at. Hope everyone is doing well, or at least tolerably. How has the beginning of this week been treating you, chat? I see you had a kind of a rough day at work. Brooke, sorry to hear that, man. Hopefully, I provide you with a good enough time for you to feel a bit better when it's all said and done. I truly hope that's the case. Who all we got in this bitch? Spicy Dan, Brooke, Delta Dan. Brooke, Spicy Dan, Brooke, Delta Dan. Oh, that's why I'm like, nah, that explains it. When I first saw you pop up in chat, Spicy Dan, I'm like, wait a minute, didn't I moderate his ass already? Now I'm scrolling up at the top. There is the one I moderated, and now you're in here on your second one. I hope you're on a different device and left your other account on the other device so you give me another view. That would be really cool. If not, fucking do it. Speaking of things y'all need to do, hit the like. Everyone needs to hit the like. Everyone needs to hit the like. Now, if you're new, then I would, good man, thank you. If you're new, then I would appreciate it if you would also hit those other two buttons. Because, everyone hits the like. But if you're new, first of all, welcome. Thank you for clicking on this here stream and venturing into the basement to see what's up. Welcome. Good to see you. And again, if you are new here to the basement, besides me being very grateful that you even, are popping in, even if it's only for a moment. First of all, hang out longer. It gets better. We're just chit-chatting for now. And also hit those other two buttons, the one, subscribe and the bell. And also, if you scroll up, you will see that my guy Brooke in there dropped the link to the Discord. I have a Discord server. You should also hop on in there because I always post the live streams in the Discord as well. And Discord notifications are much more reliable than YouTube notifications. Anyone can tell you, and you probably already know since you're on YouTube, their notification system can be fucked. So, consistent notifications. Join the Discord. As I said, Brooke dropped it up there earlier in the chat. The link is also in the description of this video and also in my channel profile. So you can find it. You should click on it. You should hang out in there. And also, here, click on all this shit too. So what's happening in chat? Anything fun? Anything interesting? You harvest anything, Spicy Dan? Like, what's crack-a-lack in chat? Bitch died. Fuck. Excuse me one moment. We'll have her back for the back half of the show. Or stream. New Ultimate Wolverine comic issue. Nice. I saw Rob over there at the Comics Explained dropped something about a video. I believe he titled it Ultimate Wolverine Loses Everything. Sounds ominous as fuck. You have around 60 pounds of peppers still to process. Dude, how big a plot of land are you growing all these peppers on? Because I know how big peppers are, and you need a fair fucking chunk just to get 60 pounds. And obviously, you used to have more because you're saying still to process, not just to process. So goddamn, that's a lot of peppers, man. That is a lot of peppers. Oh, yeah. Rob at Comics Explained, he is pretty awesome. He's fun. He actually did a live stream the other day, maybe it was a week or two ago now, that I didn't even know he did until I was popped into his channel because I'm like, all right, which playlist do I want to dive into this time? And I was like, wait, there's a live stream that's only 2 days old? What the fuck? You have 2 acres and grow on half an acre. All right. 25% of your land is devoted to peppers. That's pretty cool. Are you out there with like a donkey and a fucking old steel blade plow? Or like, what do you got going on over there? Do you have equipment created by John Deere? Does she think your tractor's sexy? Does it really turn her on? Inquiring minds want to know. Brutal! What's up? Thanks for stopping by, my guy. Appreciate it. How you doing? How are your streams going? I've got a couple, but you stream really motherfucking late, so. Your mule is your kid? 1977 Ford. That's funny. That's cool, though. I hope you at least padded the harness for him. All right. What? Talk about first. talk about first, Jet? You want to talk about some DC? You guys want to talk about some DC? Oh, goddamn, dude, that is horrible, brutal. I am so sorry for them. That's crazy. Streams have been better, grown strong. That's good, but also, damn. Um, hearts and vibes in the chat for brutal, guys. That's nuts, man. I'm sending the good energies your way, bro. Thoughts, prayers. You know, wherever you accept the energy comes from there shall I send it. Yeah. Where is it? Fuck. That's what I was looking for. Womp. There we go. Yeah. How old are they? How old are the kids? What up, Brennan? How you doing, man? Dude, there is it. Bro, you guys and what's going on with you is much more important than the nerdy news. I'll get to that shit. We got community got to take care of the community first. We'll get to the nerdy. Don't even worry about shit like that, man. Ever. Any of you. That goes for all of you. Like you never have to feel bad for, bringing shit up ever. 'Cause we got each other's back around here. Oh, damn. It's all good, Brooke. I mean, if you think about it, and please don't be offended by this, but if you think about it, if y'all are, talking or ranting or whatever in chat, on the plus side for everyone else, we can't actually hear it. We just reading it. Did I miss it? Brutal, how old are the kids? Did you type it in and I missed it? I don't think I missed it. Did I miss it? I don't think I missed it. Turn around and my cat was eyeballing. Well, one of my cats was eyeballing me, I should say. 10 and 14. Oof. Well old enough to understand exactly what's happening. Damn. I ain't been there. Well, I didn't lose my mom until I was an adult, but I definitely lost people at that age. It's pretty fucked. I must say. So. Drop a few more memories. Yeah, I mean, you got a lot of chat going on. No big deal. La da da. Well, yeah, much love, brutal, and especially and to your kids, infinite love. Sure. Okay. Not to be crass, but let us now turn to the nerdy, lighten things up, and maybe possibly bag on James Gunn. Uh, so, as of yesterday, well, actually, let's go this way. That is amazing, and I know you will be. If your experience with yeah, let's just say I've been in a somewhat well, I've been in relationships where I've been a parental figure to other people's kids, and let's just say 98% of the time I was the better option, and I feel like that's probably the case with you. Maybe, kind of hope I'm wrong. Um, but yeah, all right. You guys remember a while back, Jeff Snyder dropped a report. I think it was in a news. I think it was some. He wrote in his newsletter. Yes, he dropped this in his newsletter. What up, Griff? Um, he dropped in his news. I don't remember how long ago. This has been a couple, 3 months, I think, maybe even longer. It was a minute. The Superman came out in what, July? So I think Snyder dropped this in like late August, maybe early September. So like 2.5 months ago. Snyder put in his newsletter that there was going, and he also talked about it on the hot mic, that there was going to be a Jimmy Olsen show. What up, Delta Dan? That there's going to be a Jimmy Olsen show, and that it was going to be basically everyone in the Daily Planet. They're going to be focusing on the people, the people in the Daily Planet, Jimmy and Perry and the other ones that were in the movie. And they were going to, it was going to be kind of like it's a show, so it's all episodic, but what do they call that? Like a serial? No, that's a soap opera. Anthology, kind of, sort of. Anywho, basically, the premise is that Jimmy would be writing stories about various villains, DC villains, basically every week. At least that was the premise at that point. And that one of the first villains to be introduced was going to be Gorilla Grodd. Okay? So, again, this was, mid to late August, maybe early September when he dropped this. So, 2.5 months ago. Maybe even 3. Well, yesterday, or a few days ago, we got official confirmation that is actually fucking happening. The show, as we were calling it, the Jimmy Olsen Show, is named there it is, DC Crime. Nightwing's name came from a Jimmy Olsen story. That's cool. So it will be called. It's not going to be called the Jimmy Olsen Show. It will be called DC Crime. Allegedly, it's going to begin filming next spring in Hotlanta. Yeah. So gonna have obviously Jimmy, this guy, her, someone else whose name I didn't recognize and don't know who the fuck they are. And Perry, of course. But Allegedly, we are not going to get any Lois or Clark, a.k.a. Kal-El, a.k.a. Superman, in the show. But that is what's happening. We are getting the Jimmy Olsen show. It's going to be called DC Crime. And the first episode is the one that we are going to get introduced to Gorilla Grodd in. Now, let's start with the obvious. I'm going to bring up again that James Gunn, way back in the beginning, and since then repeatedly, has said that you will not need to watch the shows to know what's going on in the movies. All the story, they're all going, the stories will all be part of an overall picture, but they'll be independent and have their own vibe, yada yada yada. And he said that at the beginning, and he's re-emphasized it any number of times since then. But now we are getting a TV show that is going to start introducing DC villains on a weekly basis. Last I knew. I'm not sure if that's changed. But yeah, so he's going to be pipelining in DC villains through this show. Going to introduce them to us, give us some background, all that kind of fun shit. Which almost makes the show necessary to watch if you want to know what's up with a villain that will pop up later in a movie or what have you. Wasn't Peacemaker connected to Superman somewhat? Somewhat, yeah. But, yeah, so that's the show. It films next spring. I'm guessing that means it'll come out sometime in 2027. But yeah. So again, James Gunn violating his fucking oath that, it's all going to be mostly independent. No homework necessary. But here we go with this show, DC Crime. And James not doing what he said he was going to do. I'm unsurprised. I've been saying from the beginning, good luck with that, James, because that's not how a shared universe works, bro. I think deep down he knew it, and he just really wanted to. He just went on an ego trip and was like, fuck this. I know I can do this shit better than Feige. I know I can do it differently, and it'll still be awesome, yada, yada, yada. And as predicted by myself and probably quite a few others who actually know what the fuck's going on, he had to cave, and it's all intertwined. And he basically has to do it the way Marvel did, because Marvel's the fucking blueprint for a shared universe. The end, period. Now, while Marvel is the blueprint, obviously, the quality of their architecture has fallen off over the last few years. Like, only a complete Homer, ridiculous, super dumbass fan with no perspective would say otherwise. Right? So, saw Charlie's video and he said possible Flash cameos in the background. Which Charlie, but that would be cool. Never thought I'd long for CWDC again. So, dude, fucking Arrow was peak for about 3 seasons. The Flash was peak for about 4. I didn't make it past 20 minutes into the premiere of Legends of Tomorrow, though, so, and I never watched Supergirl. Moist Critical Charlie, maybe. Okay. I keep forgetting his actual name's Charlie. They're all on, actually, I don't know if they're on fucking Max or not. Now that I think about it. They should be, because they're all DC. Emergency Awesome. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's his name. I never really watch him. Obviously, I hear nothing but good things about him, but I never really watch him. I probably should start. Like, real talk. Of course, that's what I need, is yet another fucking thing to watch. Legend season 3 was good. Yeah, see, y'all know Rob. He mostly only pops in on Saturdays. My guy Rob lives out in Vegas. He has told me that um you got to get past the first. It's like Breaking Bad. Once you get past the first season, it like really picks up and gets really cool. Um, Arrowverse is on Netflix. Okay, sick. Wonder how long that's gonna last. Well, the license runs out. That's how long that shit's gonna last. Anyway, um, yeah. So you have failed this universe, right? So yeah, um, I can understand no Corn Sweat in that show, but like no Lois, no Rachel Brosnahan in the show. It's kind of dumb. I can understand no Superman. You hold the Man of Steel back. You keep him on the burner, and mostly for the movies. Maybe drop him in the finale. You know what I mean? Maybe save like a tougher than average villain for like the finale, and then maybe Superman pops in, kicks a little ass, and then flies off, and we don't see him again till Man of Tomorrow. Of course, they're filming this next spring. When does Man of Tomorrow come out? July? June? 27? This could come out very close to Man of Tomorrow. I wonder if they're going to make sure it's out before Man of Tomorrow so they have options on, like, maybe adding one or two of the villains that were introduced in the show. Maybe, baby. Could be. Could be. But yeah, not having Lois in there is dumb. Like, not even to appear is dumb. Like, she should at least pop in. I mean, she doesn't have to be in like every episode. Excuse me, but she should pop in every once in a fucking while. Episode here, episode there. Let's say they go this, what seems to be the current streaming industry standard of 8 episodes. Maybe bring her in for like, maybe make episodes 7 and 8 like a 2-parter and bring her in for that. Or like, maybe one time around episode 3 and then maybe episode 8, assuming it is the what seems to be the standard 8 episodes. No, that's just, again, Corn Sweat, whatever. Superman. You can't put him in fucking everything. But yeah, no Lois on a daily planet-centered show. I think that's kind of silly. I just think that's kind of silly. What do you guys think, chat? How do you feel about DC crime? I will probably check it out just to see if it's at least fun and to see how they handle the villains. Oh, yeah, and that's another thing. Here we have yet another comic book project with villains and no fucking hero for them to fight. No Superman. And Gorilla Grodd, if I recall correctly, is more of a Flash. Is more part of the Flash Rogues gallery than Superman's. Because obviously this is all going to be happening in Metropolis. Not that the villains don't cross over. They do, obviously. But yeah. You wait for a trailer first? I mean, yeah, definitely. I don't know. I'm going to stick with my usual plan of at least giving the first episode a shot. See what happens. If it doesn't grab me, then that'll be the last episode I also watch. But we'll see. We shall see. So reportedly begins filming in spring. So yeah, trailer number 1 we probably won't get till at the earliest this time of next year. Yeah. But that's not all, chat. Deadline dropped an article today. What is happening? Oh. Let's talk about both of them. Why did they link that article to this? Okay, yeah, they're calling it a... Okay, so the article linked in this tweet that's not supposed to be about DC crime is about DC crime. But yeah, it's a docuseries, being akin to a true crime docuseries with Jimmy Olsen hosting. Oh, season 1 is going to be centered around Gorilla Grodd. Okay. He was in the Arrow. They brought Gorilla Grodd into the Arrowverse? Okay. Why would they link this article to something about... I don't know what they're thinking. They linked the wrong article. Anyway. There's actually another show in development, guys. Check this shizzle out. Senior. And by the way, this is an even bigger violation of his promise about the show homework, not being homework thing. This smashes all over that promise too. Senior is reportedly in development at DC Studios and HBO. It will follow Rick Flag Sr. hunting metahumans for Planet Salvation, which was introduced at the end of Peacemaker Season 2. Now, here's the fun part. Taylor Sheridan will serve as writer and showrunner. John Cena will return. Now, on paper, excluding the Taylor Sheridan part, pointless. We don't really. I mean, do we really need to see an entire show devoted to Rick Flag Sr., Frank Grillo, played by Frank Grillo? Jesus. Do we really need a show where we watch Rick Flag Sr. hunt down metahumans and throw them onto Planet Salvation? Like, do we need that show? Brutal doesn't think so. What do the rest of you think? Do we need this show? Is this something we need to see? Is this something we need to watch 6 to 10 episodes of? Rick Flag Sr. hunting down metahumans to throw them onto Salvation or into Salvation or at Salvation? Or, something along those lines. Is this something we really need? Yeah, exactly. We're about to get a lot of DCU homework. That's craziness, too. James Gunn, all these promises he made at the beginning, and now breaking all kinds of them. Reminds me of some other people out there. I think we don't need it. Yeah, I really don't care. The only thing that piques my interest is Taylor Sheridan being the writer and showrunner. Taylor Sheridan, who is basically the one that is got Paramount Plus relative. Do we need Booster Gold as well? Fuck no. Although that character is right up Gun's alley, so we're gonna get him. But yeah, so that's like literally the only intriguing thing about this show is the fact that Taylor Sheridan's gonna write and showrun. I mean, we all know who Taylor Sheridan is. Yellowstone, Tulsa King. Isn't Mayor of Easttown his too? And all the Yellowstone spinoffs. What was it, 1923, 1880, something or other? One of them's got that Brandon Sklenar in it that everyone still wants to be fucking Batman. Yeah, that Taylor Sheridan. The one who in 3 years is dipping out to Paramount Plus for Universal because they paid him a shit ton of money and are letting him do feature films as well as TV. Yeah, Taylor Sheridan's a badass. So if he's writing and showrunning, and interesting though, he still technically works for Paramount and is not going to be fully over to Universal till 2028 or 9, and is still technically a Paramount employee right now, and he is now going over to DC under Warner Brothers. I'm probably stretching on that one, but then again, maybe not that much. Anyway, it all has to do with sale in case you're, wondering where the fuck I'm going with that. Anywho, so yeah, that's literally the only cool thing about this idea is Taylor Sheridan fucking doing it. But other than that, I really don't know why the fuck they're developing it. Now, remember what development means. Development does not, easier to say what development doesn't necessarily mean. Development doesn't necessarily mean going to happen. So there's that. Let's start there. This show is not necessarily going to happen. Although if Taylor Sheridan's involved, I would say the odds go way up that it's going to get out of development. But for right now, development is no guarantee of actual production. But just the fact that we're already getting one homework show in the form of DC Crime. We are now getting potentially another homework show in the form of Senior, where we get to watch Frank Grillo chase metahumans and grab them and throw them into salvation. Yeah. Yeah. What? Just shouldn't be on the table, is all I'm saying. No hand of those cards. Folds is brutal. 100%. 100%. There's absolutely no reason. There's really no reason for either of these shows to exist. Like, real talk, there is no good reason for either of these to exist. I mean, maybe do something like DC Crime for James Gunn's sake. Yeah, right. I mean, I can see a show like DC Crime actually having a purpose, but not this early in your universe. This is something you do like 4 or so movies in after everything's firmly established. And then you can kind of fuck around and start using a show to introduce things here and there. But, yeah. And again, way down the road, maybe a show like DC Crime's a good idea. Maybe. Possibly. But right now, no. Senior, Taylor Sheridan, even with Taylor Sheridan, there's no point in this fucking show. No point. I don't know what the fuck they're doing over there, but outside of um outside of James Gunn being paranoid about his future post sale and pulling a Kathleen Kennedy and just trying to like load up as much of his shit as he can possibly get going before he gone. I mean, that is at least a more acceptable reason than, well, any other. Yeah, I'm not a fan of what he's doing in this case. They need to have a plan for the villains. One of the best things DC has is a gallery of great villains, and if they follow the Marvel roadmap, they will end up killing all their villains. Yeah, Marvel needs to stop doing that. That is an excellent point. Marvel, well, they need to stop doing it as much. Like, minor villains, okay, fine, fucking die. But big name motherfuckers, they need to come back somehow or other. Like Thanos. Although the rumors are we're going to get King Thanos in Doomsday. So we'll see about that. But yeah, in general, I 100% agree. They need to knock that shit off. They need to knock that shit off. Okay. Oh, yeah. Do we believe her? Do we believe Lizzie? She keeps saying again that she's not in Doomsday. Like, what do you guys think? Getting King Thanos through multiverse and that not being a story arc is weak, though. Derizard. Welcome, Derizard. Thanks for stopping by, first of all. Yeah, I mean, there are definite ways they could have done that better. I'm not gonna argue that point. Yeah, but I bet she'll be in Secret Wars. I mean, yeah, she's definitely going to be in Secret Wars. I mean, there are plenty of rumors about her being involved in Doomsday. This is the way. I mean, I would prefer her in Doomsday. But if she's not, then I'll and at least hope she better be in Secret Wars. Basically, is what that boils down to. But as for Marvel actors, just as a rule now for me, I will not believe any Marvel actor who says they are going to not be in a movie. You know when I will believe one of them? When I walk out of the theater at the end of the movie and didn't see them in it. That is when I will believe a Marvel actor saying I'm not in this project. So until I walk out of Doomsday, after the absolute final thing rolls and the screen goes completely black and the lights come up, and I don't see Lizzie Olsen in there, then I'll believe she ain't fucking in there. It has happened the other way too many times. I don't believe any of them. I don't believe her. I don't believe Brie. I don't believe any of them. So, I mean, they can all say what the fuck they want. The hit Marvel's actor history of denial is way too Um, way too rife with lies upon lies upon lies upon lies upon lies. So, fuck that. I ain't believing her. Just that fucking simple. I am not going to believe her in the slightest. Now, this is cool. Totally rando, but this is cool. Mr. Chadwick Boseman will be getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame next week. That's cool, man. And he earned it though. Like, and not obviously we nerds are all like fucking Black Panther T'Challa, but he's done a lot of. He was fuck. He played Jackie Robinson. That one was a huge one for him. He did a couple other like really impactful, dramatic roles and stuff. So obviously we all love him as T'Challa, but he's done a lot of other like high quality, like dramatic stuff. So he deserves it. He definitely deserves it. Where to go? Where I have stuff and then I lose stuff. I have stuff and then I lose stuff. And now I've been scrolling so long I forgot what the fuck I was looking for in the first place. God damn it. And here's the part of the stream where everyone fucking leaves. I have no idea where this particular doodad comes from, but check this shit out. We have a rumored list of fight sequences for Doomsday. Check this shizzle out. Mr. Fantastic versus Nightcrawler. Well, that one was confirmed by fucking Alan the dude that plays Nightcrawler. What's his goddamn name? I almost said Alan Richardson, and that's not right. Anyway, the homie that plays Nightcrawler already confirmed that like a while ago when he was talking about, yeah, I got to fight Pedro Pascal. So we know that's accurate, which lends at least a little bit of credence to the rest of this list. So yeah, Mr. Fantastic versus Nightcrawler, Shang-Chi versus Gambit. I like that one. 10 rings versus kinetic energy, everything thrown at your head. That'll be fun. Alan Cumming. I knew it was an Alan. Thank you, bro. Yeah. So yeah, Alan Cumming gave that shit away like a couple months ago, if not longer. So, but yeah, Shang-Chi versus Gambit. What do you guys think of that one? I think that's going to be a good fucking fight. Shang-Chi versus Gambit works. And then they have Yelena versus Mystique. Makes sense. And Captain America versus Cyclops. I'm assuming they mean Sam. I'm assuming they mean Sam and not Steve. Um, the stunt people are going to have to get very creative to make that one work well. Because, yeah, Sam Wilson would have absolutely zero business beating Cyclops. Captain Marvel versus Monica Rambeau. Interesting. Well, but that's assuming Brie Larson will be in this. Assuming that. So Carol versus Monica. Why would Monica be? I mean, obviously we know she's on the X-Men universe right now. But the question is why is she going to be fighting against her fellow 616 heroes? Obviously, there's got to be something to that, other than like they need to match numbers. Now, here's an interesting one. Sentry versus Professor X. So basically, Superman plus the Void versus Charles Xavier. That's an interesting one. Sentry versus Professor X. Now, like, Professor X is going to be having to do a lot of telepathic shit. And is going to have to hope it's just like regular powered Bob and not the fucking Void. Because the Void is as I recall correctly, is basically along the lines of like a cosmic entity. So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that one. Like I've said it before, and I will continue to say it. My level of creativity is almost nil, which is why I almost never come up with like my own theories, except on very rare occasions of an epiphany of some sort. It happens, but like very, very rarely. So I have absolutely no idea how this fight is going to be handled, other than it's going to involve a lot of telepathy. Because how the fuck is Charles Xavier going to dodge physical attacks? That's a lot of that battle is obviously going to take place in Bob's brain. Yeah, so that one will be interesting. Now these first six here, I feel like are basically gonna be the Avengers versus X-Men battle portion of the movie. Now, then we come to this last one, where obviously after this first AVX battle, for lack of a better term, is over, they're gonna realize that the real problem is Doctor Doom, and so I'm guessing, based on rumors and the way things are being set up allegedly. This here battle I'm about to read off is probably going to take place in the Void or in the TVA, and that is Mr. Fantastic, Cyclops, and Captain America versus Doom. Obviously, they're going to make up after their fight. They're going to figure out Doom's the problem, and then they're going to go fight his ass. So, Reed, Scott, and Sam versus Victor. Hmm. Well, I mean, for a wide variety of reasons, both like in reality as it comes to like the Marvel universe overall, especially the comics. Um, Doctor Doom should dog walk those guys, just like in general, just in general power Marvel scaling. And also for the movie to happen, he's going to have to dog walk them so he can get to Loki, steal his power, and form Battle World. So brutal. If I'm being real, I think any non-main six Avengers are about to have the X-Men wipe the floor with them, so they set a new power balance in the MCU. I mean, yeah, they kind of have to do that because as much as like we love the Avengers, mutants will dog walk them motherfuckers. Like, sorry, not sorry, Avengers. Mutants will dog walk that ass. So, the Avengers would get taken to Pound Town by mutants. Yes, they would. So, and that is some. And I am with you, Brutal. That is something they need to establish. And it's been Avengers. Like Avengers have been the team in the MCU for going on 20 years. It's time to put some spec on the mutants' name. What do you guys think of that fight list, chat? They would give the main six Avengers a run for their money. Think they should stick with that fight list? Maybe add more? Oh, I'm sure there's more. I am sure there's more. I mean, it even said some of the rumored fight sequences. So, yeah, there will be more. Let's go ahead and dip out of comic book movies for a second. And I did let y'all know about this on this next one on the Discord, obviously. But yeah, Alien Earth is back for season 2 officially, baby. Season 2 of Alien Earth 100% officially greenlit and will be hitting our screens probably in 2027. But yeah, we are getting season 2 of Alien Earth. Yo! I'm fucking stoked. How do you guys feel about it? I'm pretty sure I know how you feel about it, but let me know in the chat because I need the fucking engagement. Okay, you know what? Let me change the question. Not, are you, not, let me change it from what do you think to, because I know we're all happy about it. Let me change it to how hyped for Alien Earth Season 2 are you? Because I know you're down. I know you're here for it. But how hyped are you, chat? Let's make that the question. The Doom fight Reed, Sam Cap, and Cyclops are severely damaged till Secret Wars. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Doom isn't known for being a nice guy, especially if you are between him and his goal. He tends to get a little abrupt. He tends to get a little abrupt. Y'all hear they got the lady that voiced Rogue in both X-Men animated series is going to be voicing her in Rivals. Like, we're getting the Rogue voice in Rivals, chat. How fucking sick is that? And the Gambit dude from X-Men 97, too. And y'all watch Dune Prophecy? You guys remember Dune Prophecy? Any of you guys watch Dune Prophecy when it was out? I only ask because they have started filming season 2, and season 2 is going to be longer. Do you guys give a shit about Dune Prophecy season 2? Dune Prophecy was alright? Yeah. I may watch it someday. I still actually have to watch Denise Dune movies in the first place. Yeah, I haven't watched them. I have not watched them yet. I need to. I will. But I haven't done it yet. All right. This one's a little weird. This little tidbit's a little weird. Wanda and Venom are going to have a romantic relationship in Rivals. I had one reaction to that, and it was this. Because I'm me, and what else would I say? Dune reboots are pretty good. Hope the next one keeps up. You're talking about what was going to be Dune Messiah is now just Dune Part 3? I don't really see Denis falling off. He's a pretty good director. But I still have to watch the first two Chalamets. I watched the original Dune a long motherfucking time ago, so I really need to actually rewatch that one too. Didn't see Venom and Wanda having a romantic relationship coming. Nor did I. But like I tweeted, look at that tongue. And I'll just leave it there. Exactly, Brennan. Oh, I forgot about this one. Holy shit. Okay. Gotta shit on Dave Filoni just a little bit. Gotta shit on Dave Filoni just a wee bit. Y'all remember Ahsoka? Season 1. I'm sure you do. Y'all remember them giving Sabine force powers? And then having her able to use them in the most ridiculous way? In a very, dare I say, Rey kind of way? Achieving feats she shouldn't be able to achieve for her lack of fucking training? Y'all remember all that shit? Well, according to Rebels writer Henry Gilroy, y'all remember Rebels? Where we first met Sabine and carrot cakes and, well, I don't think she really had much in the way of cakes on the animated show. But, you know, the Ghost Crew, Rebels. According to Rebels writer Henry Gilroy, if he's related to Tony, he's better at Star Wars. They had already discussed the pros and cons of making Sabine a Jedi in Star Wars Rebels during Season 3, but they decided against it. And And then Dave went ahead and did it in Ahsoka. Exactly, the Force Toss of Ezra. Dave. Dave Filoni. You dumb motherfucker. Outside of the shitty Force foo that Ezra had, and just the kind of goofiness overall of the finale, like, this stood out amongst all of it. Like, Sabine having Force powers and able to use them the way she did fucking immediately was one of the biggest, if not the biggest, gripes about that show. And Dave did it. Dave fucking did it. Yeah. He fucking did it. One more little Star Wars tidbit. In the land of who gives a fuck news when it comes to Star Wars, The Force Awakens is reportedly heading back to theaters for its 10th anniversary celebration. Don't know if it's going to be a wide release or whatever. And if that's the case, it also means it's going to happen next fucking month. So if you give two shits about The Force Awakens and want to see it again in the theaters, keep an eyeball out. It'll probably be out next month sometime. Everybody's Force Foo fighting as fast as Force Lightning. I see what you did there, Brennan. They were Force Foo fighting as fast as Force Lightning. Oh, shit. My bad. There's one more DC show to talk about. Now, I don't know how much this show in particular will be tied into baseline DCU continuity. It feels like it'll probably be Elseworlds. But they're putting out a V for Vendetta series as well, guys. Now, Gunn will be executive producer. Doesn't say anything about him writing anything. Doesn't say he's going to be directing anything. He's just going to be an executive producer. And since this is probably not going to be closely associated with the DCU, he probably actually will not force himself upon writing or directing any of it. At least one can only hope. Hoping he's just taken the EP title because V for Vendetta is kind of technically a DC project. And EP, he gets the monies for that. So, yeah. No news about him writing anything or directing anything. He's just going to be EP on it with a couple other people. So, setting aside his even marginal involvement, how do you guys feel about a V for Vendetta series? What do you guys think about a V for Vendetta series? Now, I have watched the movie. I've never read any of the books. comic books. I have watched the movie, but it was a long ass time ago. I barely remember anything about it. Real talk. Um, but yeah, just in general, I think it's interesting that they're doing a V for Vendetta show. I still think this kind of falls under the category of why are we doing this? Do we really need this show? But on the other hand, V for Vendetta is pretty cool. Oh, you just watched it this week in 4K? Nice. Very nice. All right, well, so since it is fresh in your brain, Spicy Dan, what do you think about it being turned into a show? Since it's fresh in your brain, is this something that will translate to TV? Do you think? Yeah, same for me, Brennan. I think I only watched it once, and it was a long time ago. Oh yeah, there's another report on it. THR. Yeah, I guess maybe it's going to be a docu series for DC Crime. But I guess it's mostly just going to be like the exploits of Gorilla Grodd until he gets dealt with. Kind of what it's looking like. Going back to that. Okay, yeah. Gunn Saffron and Chad King are going to executive produce the V for Vendetta show. What up, Brandon? Randon? All I remember is Portman. I mean, yeah. Let me scroll up here. Movie's great, hard to beat. Yeah. Brandon, fucking nervous about them doing V for Vendetta. Yeah, I don't blame you. Hugo is V is top notch. Hugo. Hugo. Which Hugo? I should know who you mean. And like my brain's firing, but I got nothing. You type Hugo, all I can think of is Vigo Mortensen. I'm like, that ain't fucking it. That ain't fucking it. Oh, Agent Smith. Okay, that guy. Hugo Weaving. That was him? Shit. I forgot. Okay, yeah. I like him. Mr. Anderson. Mr. Anderson. All right, where to go? Stay there. God damn it. Okay. Yeah, Hugo Weaving. That's cool. Yeah, that's interesting. V for Vendetta show. On top of the senior show in development and the DC crime show in the Daily Planet without Lois Lane. Yeah. All right, chat. I'm going to go take a quick pee pee. And then we are going to switch into Marvel News. Marvel News. Okay, be right back. Well, not right back, but very shortly. Please don't leave. Hello, C-Dub. What's happening? There we go. Brosnahan might be too costly. I mean, Possible. Possible. I think DC Crime sounds kind of lame. I mean, I definitely think the potential for lameness is higher than the potential for dopeness, but I'm not going to say it won't be. It can't be dope because it could be dope. God damn it. Fuck. All right. On to Marvel, chat. On to Marvel. Okay, so item number one. Remember we talked about the Doomsday trailer a little while back when Chris Gore, the only guy, by the way, that had the chair presentation thing, he came out and he said that the Doomsday trailer, first of all, is going to be attached to Avatar Fire and Ash, and that turned out to be true. That got confirmed. And he also said it was going to be a longer trailer, not just a mere teaser like what you would get, generally for your first look at a movie, is generally like a teaser. He said it's going to be basically a full trailer, and that it is going to be chock full of Doom doing Doom things, looking like the badass he is, and creating the impression in the minds of both nerds and normies that Doom is very much the epitome of FAFO. Okay? So, according to him, that is the trailer. That is what we are going to get next month. Now, Monday, John Campea, he of the Tobey Maguire package obsession, he reported that Marvel Studios has actually created 30 plus versions of a Doomsday trailer. +30 versions of a Doomsday trailer. That's kind of nuts. I mean, in a way, it makes sense because I mean, they need to get this motherfucking right. First of all, so creating a shit ton of options, is a good idea. Can work out a lot of ideas that way, concepts, see what kind of works, see what doesn't work, see what you can put together, see what you can maybe yank apart, remix here and there. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B, a lot of column C, a little bit of column D, vice versa, yada yada, rotate it around, thousands of combinations, that kind of thing. So it's not a bad idea. But I'm really hoping out of those 30 plus, we get the one Chris Gore talked about, the one that his source saw, because a trailer full of Doom doing Doom-like things, I am very much here for. But the also after that, where is it? maybe. Maybe it was the Beyond. Must have been PR. Okay. Anywho. So, current Chris Gore, big old trailer chock full of doom and doing shit. What up, Executive Judge? And that was Monday. We had the Chris Gore thing last week. And then now Campia's report of 30 plus versions of the trailer. And then one of the Twitter scoopers, I thought it was Cryptic HD, but now I'm pretty sure it was the Beyond Reporter. He came out and said that the Doomsday trailer attached to Fire and Ash is actually going to be a teaser, and it's only going to be about 50 seconds long. Not even a full minute. According to him. Them, however you want to pull it. Now, wow, I scrolled down too far and just saw something. Campia was basically confirming what Harloff said about the trailer last week. He said they had made several versions of the trailer and deciding which one to release. Now, he didn't say how many. He just said several. And then now Campia is saying it's not just several. It's over 30 of them, which is fucking nuts. I didn't even know the northern lights were going to be visible tonight, but it's cloudy up in here, so no, I can't see them. Which sucks. You heard 3 minutes? That's what Chris Gore was making it sound like. And for that, I am down because, they need to beat us over the head with Doom. Or, well, not us. We already know how awesome Doom is. They need to beat the normies over the head with Doom, but in a good way. So I hope Chris Gore is right. But, yeah, there are now scoopers coming out much more recently than Chris Gore. And they're saying it's going to be a legit, like just a straight up teaser. And not a whole big ass motherfucking trailer. Now, personally, for this guy, if they want to do an actual teaser instead of the Chris Gore version of the trailer, okay, but that better be like, out of the 50 seconds, it better be like 49 seconds of Doom. Doing Doom things. They have to at least stick with that. It needs to be full of Doom, no matter how long it is. Pause. It needs to be full of Doom engaging in full-on motherfucking doominess. It's what we need. What the hell? I have confused myself. Okay. So, personally, I'm rooting for Chris Gore to be right, guys. I'm rooting for Chris Gore to be right and not, I think it was the Beyond Reporter. Don't 100% quote me on that. I'm not remembering for sure because I thought I bookmarked that motherfucker and I didn't. So, yeah. I'll put it this way. It is now being reported that it is going to be an actual teaser and not a full trailer. And it's only going to be about 50 seconds. Needs a ton of doom. Oh, man. Have a good night, Randon. Thanks for popping in, bro. I really appreciate it. Where the fuck did it go? The fuck did it go? Oh, shit. I'm still on the 11th. Okay, that's the problem. Okay. So, I want the long one, giggity, and I want it to be ridiculously full of doom. But again, if it's the short one, it still needs to be ridiculously full of doom. The normies need to be convinced, is basically what that boils down to. Don't always agree with Gore, says C-Dub. He can lean a bit too far with the Nerdrotic crew. Yeah, fuck those guys. However, he does have credible sources. He's not a typical scooper. He doesn't say shit unless he actually knows. Yeah. He's not always out on the interwebs like, oh, I heard this. Oh, I heard this. Oh, I heard this. Yeah, that is definitely not his normal mode of engagement. For sure. Never seen any Nerdrotic stuff? Yeah, he's one of the biggest anti woke rage bait channels that exist. Him and Kennel over at Geeks and Gamers. So before we get into the big thing that I wanted to talk about tonight, side note, something I want to get off my chest real quick. Haven't really talked about this too much. The whole nerd theory thing. I can't remember if I've said much about it prior to now, but I kind of want to give these are basically like my final thoughts on the subject. Did he? Yeah, good for him. Fuck that guy. Anyway, although we are going to talk about him some more here in a little while, but regarding the whole nerd theory thing. Overall, in general, I am more Team Josh than I am Team Theory. I agree that I watched the nerd theories when they came back, and Theory appeared to be extraordinarily disinterested, disengaged, not giving two shits, that kind of thing. Josh was putting in work, trying to come up with stuff, all that kind of good stuff. So, when you combine those two factors, then yeah, I have no problem Josh asking for dough. Now, when he wanted to like go full ham and like, managers and all that shit, that's overboard. That part was a bit overboard, assuming that's true. That part was a bit overboard. But mostly at this point, I need someone who is like really tight with Josh that also happens to hang out here to maybe put a bug in his ear and let him know that we understand that he likes to lean into shit. We understand he likes to beat the dead horse for a while. We know that's a thing with him, and most of the time we love it. But it's time to let this one go. It's time to get off. It's time to stop leaning very hard into the Nerd Theory $500 breakup bit. Time to move on. Time to stop feeding the trolls on both sides. The ones that go after Theory and the ones that go after Josh. I guess it's time to move the fuck on. So, like, if one of you that he's, like, actually tight with wants to put that bug in his ear, I say go for it. Because, I mean, it is a fact. He's lost about 500 subscribers on the live channel. Like, he was over 51K, and he is now at 50.6. And then I can't tell you how many videos I've seen grifting off that motherfucking shit. Like people that I'm, like, just random videos pop up on my feed, and it's all about the whole nerd theory. It's time to douse that fucking fire. So someone tell Josh to, like, find another dead horse to beat. It's time to let this horse get turned into fucking glue or dog food or something. Anyway, that's my final thoughts on the whole shit. I don't feel like talking about it anymore. But I just want to get that off my hairy chest. So there we go. Okay. $50.5. I must have forgot something I said. What the fuck does that what does that mean, Spicy Dan? I don't know. Over 1K by now. What, lost? Oh, he's down to 50.5 now? Shit, he was at 50.6 earlier today. Yeah, it's not good. He needs to let it the fuck go. You made your point, my guy. It's been a couple weeks. Love you much. Basically on your side, but let it fucking go. Alright, guys. It's time to do one of the favorite things I like to do on this stream. And that is go over Alex Perez from the Cosmic Circus Q&A. He dropped part 1 of the November Q&A. So, and he's good. He is top tier. So we're gonna go over this shit like we like to do, or well, at least like I like to do, and hopefully you guys too. But we're fucking doing it. So here we go. Question number 1 for Avengers: Doomsday and Secret Wars. Considering both the original and new lineup of Guardians of the Galaxy, including Star-Lord, who is currently on Earth, Rocket, Groot, Nebula, Drax. Although they're going to need a new Drax because fucking Bautista's out. Mantis, Gamora, Kraglin, Cosmo, Adam Warlock, and Phyla-Vell. Which of these characters is currently not expected to having a roller cameo in Doomsday or Secret Wars? Gamora is going to be out of the picture, though I believe that Gamora's presence in the MCU will be used as an example regarding how the barriers between the universes have been eroding since the Gamora we see in Endgame and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is not from our universe/timeline per se. I haven't really heard much about the Guardians aside from Star-Lord. I know he was previously supposed to be involved, so let's keep an eye on him for now. All right, couple things in this answer. One, you remember how Josh was going to have that Tuesday night stream, and he's going to watch that MCU multiverse video from A Bit of Everything? This being the video that Michael Waldron actually reached out to A Bit of Everything and was like, you pretty much nailed it, homie. You guys remember Josh talking about that video? I posted it in the Discord. Did any of you guys actually watch that? Because I listened to it when I was out dashing, pseudo watched. He did have some graphics he referenced that I obviously couldn't look at, but I still got 98% of what he was talking about. Did any of you guys watch that movie? Video. It's a 2-hour video, fucking long. Did any of you watch that shit? There's a reason I'm bringing it up. Anyone watch that motherfucker? Okay. Well, in the video, A Bit of Everything spent a lot of time delineating the difference between moving from between branches of one multiverse tree, i.e., for example, the Loki multiverse tree from the end of Loki season 2. According to A Bit of Everything, you can go from branch to branch in that tree without disturbing the fabric of the universe. However, he brought up the fact that at the end of Loki season 1, when He Who Remains was describing what happened, he was talking about stacked universes on top of each other. When you go from one of those, which are also you can consider to be different trees, when you go from one tree to the next, that is when you start fucking up the barrier between universes and causing incursions. For example, 616, the Loki tree. Now, if A Bit of Everything is right, that means 838, since Reed in there was talking about how Doctor Strange being there confused and disturbed reality and could cause an incursion. If A Bit of Everything is right, that means 838 is its own tree, like the 616, with its own branches. So you could bounce, if you're already in the 838 tree, you can go from branch to branch and not cause an incursion. But if you were to leave 838 and go to 616, you could. Same thing with the X-Men universe at the end of the Marvels, 10005. That is its own tree. When Deadpool was searching for Logan's, he was searching through branches of the 10005 tree. Still technically a multiverse, but that as its own tree, 838, 616 are all part of like the Omniverse, or as whichever Russo put it when they introduced RDJ as Doctor Doom, the multi-universe. Call it what you will, but basically incursions are only caused when you go from tree to tree and not from branch to branch within your own tree. So the reason I bring that up is because that contradicts how Alex is describing Gamora. Because Gamora in Endgame would have just come from a different branch of the 616 tree rather than from an entirely different tree, i.e. 838 or 10005 and 828. Those are all different trees. So, again, that's just like a little bit of a contradiction of what Alex said. And the only reason I bring it up is because that video is personally endorsed by Michael Waldron, so who wrote Loki season 1 and basically set up the concept for how the MCU is going to treat the multiverse. So that is why I bring that up. Now, he says he hasn't really heard much about the Guardians aside from Star-Lord. He says, I know he was previously supposed to be involved, so let's keep an eye on him for now. Okay, so we y'all remember that concept art that basically seemed to be associated with Secret Wars? You remember the art where Star-Lord and Vision are just chilling on the couch, watching TV and eating pizza and whatever? Again, that probably came from their thing that was associated with Secret Wars. But we need to remember that as of the end of Guardians 3, he's on Earth living with Grandpa. Like, he's here. So when shit starts to go down here in the 616, I don't know how he's not going to be involved. And shit's going to be going down in Doomsday. So I'm not sure why he's saying he was supposed to previously be involved. I mean, let's keep an eye on him. I mean, that makes sense because he's here. He's Star-Lord. He's a Marvel superhero. So when Doom, or at least his representatives, attack Earth, I don't see why they wouldn't have him there doing the business and trying to help. You know what I mean? So I feel like he's going to be in Doomsday. And honestly, I think it'd be just a wee bit ridiculous if he's not, since he's on planet. You know what I'm saying? So that's that one. Next. Okay, yeah, yada, yada, yada. Skip the actual question. Okay, so I was wondering, this is the question. So I was wondering if Steve and Peggy being featured in the trailer is a real possibility. There have been some rumors about it. That's true. There have been rumors about it. Steve and Peggy are allegedly in one of the 30-plus versions of the trailer. Not in costume. All right. So Alex says, I've seen the rumors. At this point, the cat is out of the bag with them being in Doomsday since Marvel gave the exclusives to the Hollywood Reporter and Deadline to run, and they're still keeping a lot of OG characters in the dark. Now, normally, when you speak of keeping someone or something in the dark, you're not talking about hiding them from others. You're talking about hiding others from them or facts. Like, I could give you a list of like 8 things, but in reality, the list is like 10 things, and therefore I'm keeping you in the dark about 2 of them. That's the way that phrase is normally used. So I'm wondering if he meant that they're hiding them. That they're hiding a lot of OG characters. Because, again, the traditional way that phrase is used would basically mean they're lying to a lot of the OG characters. They're hiding shit from the OG characters. I think they're just hiding OG characters from us. They're keeping us in the dark as to who we're going to see in the movie. You see what I'm saying? Am I making sense? So, anyway, he goes on. Maybe they'll drop them in the trailer to keep the lid on any other character confirmation. Okay, so they'll be like, all right, they already know about them, so we'll show them then and hope they forget about everything else they've heard. Good fucking luck. Although I expect it to be something along the lines of a Charles Xavier in the Multiverse of Madness trailer tease. Anyway, we should know around early mid-December, so not that long of a wait. Yeah. Okay, we'll come back to the early to mid-December thing. Expecting it to be something along the lines of Charles Xavier in the Multiverse of Madness. So, is he saying something along the line? We'll get something along the lines of like doom, 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 doom. And then, what? Just like a voiceover from Steve? Maybe a glimpse of Nomad uniform? Or the fucking time travel suit he was wearing when he went to put the stones back? just a glimpse of that, maybe a glimpse of the shield, like maybe his legs in the time travel suit, and then like the shield next to him because he's carrying it like this at his side while walking. Because the Xavier tease in Multiverse of Madness was they showed the ever famous yellow wheelchair, and then all you heard, and like maybe the back of his fucking head, if I remember right. Someone correct me on that if you remember better. And then he'd say, maybe we should tell them the truth, or tell him the truth, and that was it. That was what it was. Patrick Stewart voice, wheelchair, back of his bald ass head, and I'm not 100% sure about the back of his bald ass head, but that's the tease. So what are you going to get? Like a voiceover of him and maybe also Peggy saying just a little bit of something with a quick visual and that's it? I mean, I'm fine with that. Because as I've said many times, the trailer needs to be super Doom heavy anyway. So if that's all we get of Steve and or Peggy, I'm fine with that. I am down. Now, the early to mid-December for the trailer. Now, we know it has been confirmed that it is going to be attached to Fire and Ash, which hits theaters like 5-6 weeks from now on the 18th of December. But Alex says early to mid. Now, it just so happens, chat, that CCXP happens in Brazil the first weekend of December. Like, not 100% sure the exact dates. Like, I don't know, 4th through the 7th, 5th through the 8th, somewhere in that neighborhood. And CCXP Brazil is like their SDCC. Like, that's where the big shit happens. And so, if Alex is alluding to early December, not a guarantee. But if we're talking early December, then we are talking CCXP. And if they actually drop some Doomsday shit at CCXP, we're going to see it. Someone going to video it. Someone going to leak that shit online. It's going to fucking happen. And if it doesn't happen at CCXP, it's going to happen the weekend Doomsday, or it's going to happen the weekend Fire and Ash premieres, because someone's going to be in that motherfucker, again, with their phone, videoing the trailer and hoping an employee doesn't walk by and make them stop. And that's assuming Marvel doesn't decide to drop the trailer online as well for the opening weekend of Avatar. Which, if they're paying attention and they're seeing all like the serious nerds talk about just paying to go see, well, actually, they wouldn't care because they get their money anyway. Never mind. But so there's a chance, chat, that we'll only have to wait like 3 weeks to get a peeky at the Doomsday trailer instead of like 5 to 6, which would be pretty fucking cool. But here's the thing, though. Going back to they have 30 plus versions they're looking at. They could very well take one of those 30 plus versions to CCXP, show it, and then we'll get that one leaked. But if they have 30 plus trailers, what they take to CCXP will not necessarily be what they stick on the front of Fire and Ash. Because let's face it, Marvel has been getting kind of good at like throwing scoopers and the rest of us by association off the track. They're getting a lot better at that shit. I would not put it past them to show one of their 30 possible like in theater trailers to CCXP, check out the reaction, and then put a different one on the front of the actual movie. Would not surprise me if they did some shit like that at all. What do you guys think? Think they'd probably pull some shit like that? I think they would probably pull some shit like that. What up, Travis? How you doing? So, yeah, chance we could get it at CCXP, but no guarantee even what they if no guarantee that what they show at CCXP, if they show anything at all, will be what we get in front of Fire and Ash. We are now moving on. Are the Russo brothers done with the MCU after Secret Wars, or do they have projects in the next phase to help set up the mutant saga? The answer. So, as I understand it, Marvel's bringing the Russos along for the ride post-Secret Wars as part of the famous Marvel Parliament, basically just overseeing the general story for the next saga. Because they want to avoid the mistakes they made with the multiverse saga in trying to branch out to too many different story points and having multiple open endings without having a clear direction. Yeah, that pretty much sums up the mistakes. Well, most of them, not all of them. Others will be brought up later. Like the main idea of the saga was to basically introduce this idea of the multiverse so Marvel could play around in the sandbox and do things they'd never really get a chance to do if it was just their main established universe. And they wanted to try out new elements and explore new corners of the MCU while still trying to find ways to relate it to the multiverse, ultimately to get to this point where incursions are happening in the main universe and the multiverse is about to end. And, of course, introduce cameos of previous heroes, here and there. But COVID-19 affected their plans. A lot of the internal discussions pushed for Marvel to drop their content months and even years before they were ready, and it was a domino effect that really just had a catastrophic mess of a story plot where practically less than half of the projects dropped in the last 5 years actually matter to the overall plot of the multiverse saga. And in their minds, the Russos, who have experienced juggling multiple characters in their movies and tying storylines together, would be a good addition to the team. They can provide their input into what works where, what can be introduced now versus what can be introduced some other time, and so on. There's some shit to unpack in this fucking answer. So, first of all, Marvel's bringing the Russos along for the ride post-Secret Wars as part of the famous Marvel Parliament, basically just overseeing the general story for the next saga. Okay, so, chat, do you recall that there was a rumor about this a long time ago? I don't know how long. Months. Literally months. A rumor came out that, okay, this would have been, hold on. I think this would have been either around Thunderbolts-ish time or around Fantastic Four time. I think it was around Fantastic Four time. So like August. So about 3 months ago, maybe a little longer. Rumors came out that the Russos were going to be sticking around post-Secret Wars to help out with the Mutant Saga. Not necessarily like do be making the movies for the Mutant Saga, but they'd be around to, help and shit. So, and that initial rumor did not come from Alex, by the way. I don't remember who it came from, but it did not come from him. But now he is basically, again, this is Scooper confirming Scooper, so I'm going to say soft confirming. But he is soft confirming that that is the case. But it's not, now, whether it'll be for longer than the Mutant Saga, who knows? Hopefully it will. But yeah, having the Russos pretty much along officially, and they're going to be part of Parliament, is a humongous dub in this guy's opinion. That is a massive dub because, yes, they have a shit ton of experience juggling a fuck ton of characters, making us care about all of them, and tying up a bunch of shit that they really had nothing to do with. How do I know they're good at that? Because I watched Infinity War and Endgame, and that's exactly what they motherfucking did. They handled a shit ton of characters and tied up a bunch of loose ends. So they are more than capable of doing it again here within, over the next 2 years with Doomsday and Secret Wars. And starting from scratch with the Mutant Saga, they'll be able to help Marvel avoid doing a lot of the stupid shit they did in the Multiverse Saga. So this is a massive dub. Before we move on to the next thing in this answer, what do you guys think of that? Are you down for the Russos being part of Parliament? Are you more than down? Are you excited for it? How do you feel, chat, about the Russo brothers being an official part of Marvel Parliament, being guiding hands to help them avoid a lot of the dumb shit they did this saga? What do you think, chat? How do you feel about that? Those are movies, though. A whole saga is a whole nother level. Yeah. But they basically had to tie up the whole saga in those two movies and everything that was left open, or at least most of it. So they basically had to learn what Marvel was doing and then figure out how to fix a lot of it. And they're basically repeating that process, but on a larger scale with Doomsday and Secret Wars. So even if they're like not planning out the entire story themselves, they can help Marvel keep from making a lot of the dipshit mistakes they made in this saga. They can keep them from leaving a whole bunch of loose ends. They can keep them from like going 8 different directions at once and then never circling any of them back. They can help a lot with all of that shit. Now, then we get down to here. COVID affected their plans. COVID affected everyone's fucking plans. And then a lot of the internal discussions pushed for Marvel to drop their content months and even years before they were ready. And it was a domino effect that really just had a catastrophic mess of story plot, where practically less than half of the projects dropped in the last 5 years actually mattered to the overall plot of the Multiverse Saga. Here's the key part. A lot of the internal discussions pushed for Marvel to drop their content months and even years before they were ready. Chat. You smell that? You smell it? Smells like Bob's. Smells like Bob Iger, and it smells like Bob Chapek. That's what the internal discussions smell like to me. It smells like Iger was fucking around then, right before he retired. And then Bob Chapek was fucking around even harder, actually, than Iger did. And then now Iger's back going, God damn it, look at this fucking mess I made. How do I fix it? I know, let me try and reverse all the dumb shit I did by cutting back on everything. So yeah, that just screams what we already knew, was that Disney Plus was Iger's baby. Darboy was cracking. And that he wanted it, instead of leaving it the way it should have been left, which is just like an $8 a month fucking vault with everything Disney in it, watch at your pleasure. And decided to go Netflix style and be like, hey, We have this cool new streaming service that I started. Let's fill it with fucking shows. And forced Marvel to get going on a bunch of shit they didn't need to do. Or at least not necessarily whether or not. Let me backtrack. Force Marvel not necessarily to do a bunch of shit they didn't need to do, but to do a bunch of shit way before it was ready to go. Basically, he did the same dumb shit that Warner Brothers did with the Snyderverse. Instead of letting Zack make Man of Steel 2 and maybe one or two other projects, they were like, fuck that. We need to catch up with the MCU. You doing Batman. You're doing BVS now. You're going to start building directly to the Justice League now. And between that and the Justice League, we saw how that shit went. Now, we do have the, what do they call it? The ultimate cut of BVS, which is way better than the theatrical cut. And, of course, we have the Snyder cut, which is galaxies better than the Justice League. Yeah. Mistakes were duplicated. Shit was forced out way before it was ready to go. Oh, yeah. Another thing that happened to. Y'all remember when Iger did that with the sequels? Remember the one homie was like, I need about 5 years to plan this shit out right and set it up and make it cool. And Iger was like, fuck that. We own Star Wars now. Get a movie in the goddamn theater. And the rest is history. Evidently, he didn't learn because he turned around and did the same shit with fucking Disney Plus. Oh, hey, here, put all this shit out. Get it out. Get it going. Forget your plans for good setup and making sure it's all connected and all that shit. I need shit on my streaming service. So do it. Fucking Bob Iger. The more you know, the more you realize he's a douche. Yeah, so just more confirmation about his fuckery and how while Feige and Kennedy are not totally absolved because they both made individual decisions that had nothing to do with Iger that were dumb as fuck. Both of them did it. But overall, Iger was palpatining all this shit, man. He was the real evil. Feige and Kathy are basically Maul and Dooku. Iger was Palpatine. Yep. All right. Enough of that. Let's move on to the next question. Okay. Will the December teaser for Doomsday show anything of the new team, or will it just serve as a preview of the overall tone? Both? Both? Both. Both is good. So we're going to get some of the new team. Now, I wonder what they mean by the new team. They talking about Sam's team? Since we haven't seen much of Sam's team and we know who the fucking Thunderbolts are, I say probably. Preview the overall tone. Well, the overall tone better be basically, to co-opt a line from Hulk, Doom Smash. That better be the fucking tone. Doom Smash. So, yeah. A little bit of the new team, again, since we know who the Thunderbolts are, a.k.a. the new Avengers with a Z. I'm assuming they're referencing Sam's team that is currently not put together. Okay. Next question. Puck. Good outlet, by the way. Reported that Hemsworth's Thor is the second lead in Doomsday after Downey's Doom. My question is, will Thor's role in Doomsday be similar to his role in Age of Ultron, where he's with the Avengers for most of the movie? Or will his role be similar to Infinity War, where he has his own subplot? Oh, she's not free from all criticism. She made all kinds of individual, Jay. She made all kinds of individual stupid ass decisions that Iger did not force her into. Prime example. Y'all remember when Leslie Headland did that interview and she was talking about when she pitched the Acolyte and like Kathy was literally the only person in the room who dug it, and then she greenlit it. Iger didn't have shit to do. That was do with that. That was all Kathy. Another example. We know Iger killed what would have been a good Obi-Wan Kenobi movie and said turn it into a TV show, but he did not force Kathy to hire Joby Harold to write it. That was her decision. Like, he told her what to do, but it was up to her how to execute the orders. Same with Feige. Iger and Chapek told him pump out content, but they didn't tell him how or what content to do. He's just like, get it done now, whether you're actually, whether it'll fit in the story properly or not. But Feige chose the characters. Like, Iger wasn't like, I want you to make a Moon Knight show and a Hawkeye show and Ms. Marvel show and yada, yada, yada. He's just like, put out shows as fast as you can. And then Feige took it from there. Iger was like, fuck a Kenobi movie, I need a show on Disney+. But then Kathy took it from there. Yeah, Kathy and Feige's hands are not clean. But it was Iger who initially shoved him in the mud in the first place. Like when Iger killed the Obi-Wan movie, is this when the movie was based on the searching of Kenobi? Because remember, that was the storyline they were doing at one point. No, it was the Kenobi movie was somewhat similar to what the show ended up being. Like, Reva was in the movie, but she was written in a lot more organically. She was scarred, and she was an actual badass. That's like the main thing I remember from the description. I could probably, well, not right now, because it'd take me a minute to find it. But I could find the basic description of the movie. I know Theory talked about it. He had a whole big old video about it. So that could probably be found if you want like all the nitty gritty. But basically what it boils down to is while Iger's the one that killed the movie and said make it a show, the execution of that order was all Kathy. So yeah, she is not absolved of jack shit. She is not free of criticism. But she was forced to change things, or Iger killed things. And we got a lot less, and we got like uncool shit for the last 5-6 years or more. Yeah. All right, so Thor. Is he going to be with the Avengers for most of the movie, or will he have his own subplot? That is the question in Doomsday. And the answer is well, yeah, again, that'd be her decision, and her hands are not clean. Like, okay, here's another way. Iger wanted movies in the theater, and she couldn't get it fucking done because she couldn't get along with people. Let's see, Rogue Squadron from Patty Jenkins. Canned Lord and Miller off of Solo. Canned Gareth Edwards off of Rogue One. Yeah, she did plenty of stupid shit like that. Oh yes, and throwing talent under the bus. Yep, that too. That too. Okay, enough about that shit. Thor. With the Avengers or mostly his own subplot? The answer is, according to Mr. Perez, technically both, because it starts as a subplot but joins in at a much earlier moment than the third act, like he did in Infinity War. What I can tell you a bit about his role is that Thor really goes through it. He always seems like he has a lot to lose in these movies. To quote Frank Ocean, what's a god to a non-believer? Okay. So he starts as a subplot but joins in much earlier than he did in the third act, like in Infinity. Okay, cool. Why are we acting like she didn't give Iger reasons to kill her shit? We don't know that Iger killed all of it. We know he forced Obi-Wan into being a show. We know he killed the Ben Solo movie. But we don't know that he's the one that killed Rogue Squadron or forced the changes on Solo and Rogue One, yada, yada, yada. That all still falls, at least until proven otherwise, right on Kathy's plate. So, Thor as a subplot, but comes in much earlier than he did in Infinity War. Now, when we last left Thor at the end of that piece of shit Love and Thunder movie that I hate, and that is the worst movie in the entire MCU catalog of movies, he was hanging out with the child of eternity, known as Love, at the time. So I would imagine that the subplot starts out with him and her. Somehow Palpatine returned. Somehow Thor is going to be made aware of what's happening in the multiverse. Don't know how. Could have to do with Love being a child of eternity, and like she could be affected by what's happening in the multiverse. You know, she could get ill. She could maybe die. They could be out traveling around and witness an incursion. Who knows? But at least according to Alex, he's going to be made aware of what's going on fairly soon, and he's going to be joining the fight way soon, like way earlier in the movie, which is cool. I am totally down. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with him before he joins the fight. There's just so many ways they could do that, none of which I can personally think of. I've already been over my creativity issue. So, we'll just see. But I like the fact that he's going to be teaming up sooner rather than later. I like that. I wonder if anyone's going to ask Alex about why Thor was crying. We got to know why Thor was crying. Anyway. Next question. What do you think the role of Wiccan and Speed will be in Doomsday Secret Wars? Well, we already have Wiccan, and in Vision Quest, we're going to be getting Speed. Alex's answer is, what's the word the stands are using now? Manifest? Yeah, that one. Manifest. Because hopefully, y'all were paying enough attention in WandaVision and Agatha all along, and Zombies, when we saw that these Maximoffs were able to basically create pocket dimensions, right? Okay, so yeah, we know Wiccan created the pocket dimension of the Witch's Road. We know Zombie Queen Wanda was doing all kinds of fun shit, especially after she convinced Kamala to help her get the Infinity Power from Infinity Hulk. I guess technically you could call what's the name of the town she took over? I guess you could call that a pocket dimension, in a way. Like no one could get in or out. It's not really what I would consider, like, I guess technically a pocket dimension, but you know, if you're willing to go the Obi-Wan route and look at it from a certain point of view, then yeah, I guess you could call that a pocket dimension. What's the name of the fucking town, chat? Help me out. I'm brain farting like a madman. My brain ate too many beans, as it were. Westview. Ha! Yeah, so Westview, I guess, could be a pocket dimension because it was isolated and she was doing what the fuck she wanted in there. Yeah. Now, I guess Alex is saying if we do see Wiccan and Speed in Doomsday, it'll have to do with a pocket dimension. I guess that's what I'm getting from that. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, for a while there, it seemed like they were definitely going to be in it because it seemed like WandaVision, Agatha, and Vision Quest were basically going to be setting up Children's Crusade. And Children's Crusade involved Wanda being with Doom, which has also been an old rumor that those two were going to be close. But it's kind of starting to look like that's changed now. And like they're not going to be bothering with the Children's Crusade storyline. No, we will see how that goes. But I guess if we are going to see him, it'll be because it'll have something to do with the pocket dimension. So there we go. Thanks, Brandon. Next question. Who cares about what character he's most excited for? All right. This is a very pertinent question. Is Damson Idris, what is the proper pronunciation of Damson's last name? Anyone know? Anyway, is Damson the new Black Panther? Answer: I refuse to comment. So I guess that means probably. Because Alex has not been shy about saying no when the answer is no. So I would say the answer is maybe to more than likely. Idris? Damson Idris? Okay. Just gotta remember that. Thank you, Executive Judge. So Wanda will reunite in Vision Quest or Secret Wars? Probably if Lizzie is not lying and she's not in Doomsday, then Secret Wars. I doubt she's gonna actually be in Vision Quest. Like Lizzie Olsen. She might be mentioned, referenced, talked about, or what have you. But I don't think she'll actually physically be in the show. So if she's not in Doomsday, it'll be Secret Wars for sure. There's no way she's not going to be in Secret Wars. But it is possible that she won't be in Doomsday. Although I don't think that makes much sense because her power set would be perfect for Doom's needs. Reality warping. Chaos magic. At least for me, it makes more sense for her to be in it than not. I guess I'll put it that way. To me, it makes more sense for her to be in Doomsday than to not be in Doomsday. But we'll see. Yeah, I'd say it's based on this answer from Alex. It's quite likely, not guaranteed, but fairly probable that Damson Idris is going to be the new Black Panther, and I am fucking here for that because he's dope. Next question. A while back, you sent a GIF of Shuri in her lab in Vision server with the eyeball emojis. Can you explain the GIF and what it means for Vision Quest? Will Wakanda and Shuri be featured? Right. Remember when Shuri was working on Vision in Infinity War and was trying to detach Vision from the Mind Stone while preserving his personality and memories in his body? Food for thought. Okay. So we know White Vision doesn't actually have the Mind Stone in him per se. And we know at the end of WandaVision that, for lack of a better term, created Vision dumped all his memories into White Vision. And a lot of the show, it seems, is going to be taking place actually in the mind of White Vision because we're going to be getting human versions of all these AIs, Ultron, Friday, Um, the one in Tom Holland's glasses, the name escapes me. Ultron's girlfriend, what's her fucking name? Her name escapes me too. So it seems like, but yeah, we're getting human versions of all these AIs. So probably a lot of it's going to be taking place in White Vision's mind. And those memories would include Shuri working on the OG Vision in Infinity War. And it could mean that White Vision might seek her out. Edith, thank you. White Vision might purposefully seek out Shuri to help him get his poop in a group. At least that's what I'm getting from Alex's answer. It seems like it's a possibility that we will see Shuri in Vision Quest at some point. It's kind of what I'm getting from that. What do you think, chat? By the way, if anyone here hasn't hit like, fucking hit the like button, pretty please, and thanks. And if you're new, hit the subscribe and the bell as well. That's kind of what I'm getting from that. There is now a possibility that we will see Shuri in Vision Quest. All right. Next question. That Blade movie sure is taking a while to coalesce, huh? Way too long. It's only been 6 fucking years to this point. Anyway, who would you want to see direct that film if and when it ever comes to fruition? Alex offers an excuse for Marvel. It's taking a minute because they wanted to push it back into the next saga. It will come to fruition. Don't you worry about that. All right. And then he would like to see Fede Alvarez or Dan Trachtenberg directed. Oh, nice. Fede Alvarez of Alien fame and Dan Trachtenberg of Predator fame. Interesting choices. And we have been getting Predator. No. Is it? What have they been dumping in Marvel Comics lately? Was it Alien or Predator? Predator v Marvel character, wasn't it? So there's history with those universes crossing over. Could be interesting. I mean, either one of those two directing a Blade movie, whether it has anything to do with Xenomorphs, Predators, or not, those two know how to direct some fucking, they do a good damn job. They're good. I'd be fine with either of them for a Blade movie, for sure. All right. Now we're moving on to Defenders type stuff. All right. Are the rumors true about a new Jessica Jones project? Special new series is looking for writers. Looking for writers, I have no clue. Says Al. That the project exists, mayhaps. We already know. We're going to get a Jessica Jones show. And has it been confirmed? Confirmed? No. But there's been a lot of rumbling about the Jessica Jones show for a while. She's going to be in Daredevil season 2. Her show was really, really, really well received when it was on Netflix. Pretty sure she's getting her own show. Next question. Any chance we could see some of the female characters return from the Netflix shows? For instance, Typhoid Mary was manipulated by Kingpin in the comic, which feels like compelling storytelling territory. No? Answer. I know most characters from the Netflix shows are fair game to come back. All right. Well, we got Charlie back. We got Kristen back. Let's bring this homie back. And fuck this guy. If they're gonna bring Iron Fist back, they need a different person. Different dude. Make it a female Iron Fist, because those exist in the comics. I don't give a fuck. But no more Quinn Jones. Finally just remembered his name. Still can't remember Luke Cage's name. Kind of annoying. But nope. Oh, not Quinn. Finn. No more Finn Jones. Please and thank you, Marvel. Hire somebody else. Hell, bring in Colleen from the Iron Fist show because she's cool and she was an Iron Fist by the end of it as well. Was it Colleen Wing? Is that her name? Bring her in. Hire a different dude. I don't care, but fucking no more Finn Jones. Can't stand that motherfucker. Moving on. Ooh, a Hulk question. How will Hulk's role in Brand New Day set up his story in Doomsday, and what impact will it have? I really hope the Russo brothers have a plan for Hulk this time. Don't we all? The answer, unleash the savagery. Cool. That's not a real not much of an explanation about how Hulk's role in Brand New Day will set up a story in Doomsday. But more confirmation that we are getting Savage Hulk back, thank God. Because the Russos need to fix that shit hardcore. Now, obviously, this is happening in Brand New Day under Destin Daniel Cretton's watch. But the Russos better just leave him savage. I think well over 90% of Marvel fandom is over Professor Hulk. Have been over Professor Hulk. We've been waiting 6 years to see Savage Hulk again, and animation does not, and like 2 seconds in Deadpool and Wolverine does not count. Okay. So that's it for Mr. Perez's part 1 of the November Discord Q&A. Part 2 will be available in a few days, it says. All right. Now, chat, it is time for the coup de grace, as it were. It is time to hit the thumbnail / title story. This comes from RPK, even though he's not given credit in this post. But this does come from Daniel initially. Ruma. Avengers Doomsday will reportedly include multiple variants of Doctor Doom, including a female version. Okay. So right from jump, of course, my reaction is, what the fuck? Why? Y'all know me. You know I'm left-leaning. You know I'm pro-DEI and, woke shit and all that stuff, right? This is not a secret. I've made no bones about it. However, I'm also a realist. And the reality is Disney / Marvel / Star Wars / Disney have been choosing to basically try and force characters, not all of them women, but force characters down our throats without writing them properly, making them compelling, or any of that shit. They've basically just been choosing to, for lack of a better phrase, do woke shit just for the sake of woke shit rather than making it organic and therefore actually palatable. They've been doing that for 4 years and it has put them in the fucking toilet. So, and the only reason I would have a problem with a female Doom is just because Marvel has yet to show that they can do that shit right. Like that's my problem with how Marvel has been doing woke shit. It's because they've been doing it in the completely wrong way. Dumping jet fuel on the fire of the anti-woke rage baiters. And doing more damage to the community, severe damage in some cases to the communities that they were allegedly trying to help. So, because of all the above, doing that would be dumb as fuck. Yeah, they did do a good job writing Sue and Yelena, but that's kind of a too little, too late situation. You know what I mean? Because um, Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four didn't make much money. Thunderbolts didn't even make as much as Brave New World, and Fantastic Four struggle bus just to clear 500 million. So I agree. They did do a good job writing those two characters. Problem is they did a bad job for so long. No one gave a fuck to go find it. No one gave a fuck and went to the theater to see that they actually did a good job this time. That's the problem. They spent too much time doing things the wrong way, so that now that they're doing them the right way again, no one gives a fuck. At least outside of anything other than major shit like the Avengers. So yeah, this would be stupid as shit. This would be signaling that all their talk of the last year or so about how they're changing and revamping and doing shit the right way now. This would definitely contradict that message. That's my problem with it. I don't have a problem with a female Doom in principle. I mean, I still don't think it's, I take that back. There are some characters you just don't fuck with, and Doctor Doom is one of them. I'm sure somewhere in comics, I haven't bothered to check, there's a female Doom somewhere. Just like there's Shalabal and who's the other one? There's a couple different female surfers that they fuck around with. There's probably a female Doom out there somewhere in the Marvel comics, but doesn't mean it's a good idea. I guess you could say the problem with it is not the fact that a female Doom would exist. The problem is the timing. After 4 years of fucking up, the time to experiment and do shit in this vein is long gone. Long gone. So, this would be a fuck up of epic proportions and would probably, Doomsday, like most comic book movies, would probably start strong, but word of mouth would spread quickly if they did this shit, and the second week drop off would be fucking insanely big, and it would be a bad situation. A very bad situation. Now, all that being said, there has been pushback to this. Gary from Nerdrotic, snowflake anti-woke bitch, he came out and said not true at all. Now, here's the deal. He actually does have decent sources, and he has gotten fairly impactful shit right in the past. I can't remember what it was offhand, but I do know it's happened. What was the last thing we talked about? That he was talking about Doomsday. That basically sounded like an anti-woke rage baiter's wet dream. Oh yeah. When he was talking about the lack of Disney Plus characters in Doomsday. Oh yeah, that bet about F4 and Superman. Isn't it interesting that was a $500 bet? We'll just leave that there. But yeah, so Gary from Nerdrotic. No, it's not Nerderotic, Joshua. There's no E in it after the letter D. It's just Nerdrotic instead of erotic. It's nerd. And also, someone pass along to Josh that it's not being skeptic of something. It's skeptical. Him and his cutting off of syllables. I swear to God. skeptical. It's verses, not verse. Anyway, but yeah. So Gary came out and debunked this. Later on, Rickman came out and with a qualifying tweet saying, "I never said variance." That's interesting. So if that's the case, if they're not all variants, that would mean, Chad, that while there might be females associated with Doom, they wouldn't be technically a variant of Doom. So if there are females running around in Doom armor, who the hell are these bitches? Who are these ladies running around in Doom-like armor? One possibility would be the Black Swans, even though that wouldn't be comic accurate. We always have to keep in the back of our mind that the MCU is not a one-to-one. Nothing that they've adapted, no comic story, no comics book story that they have ever adapted in the MCU has been a one-for-one adaptation. They've adapted the basic concepts and readjusted them and flip them around and twist them together into a form that would work on the big screen. Right? So, if they chose, I don't remember how the Black Swans were dressed in the comics. I don't know if they're dressed like Doom or not. But if they weren't, doesn't mean Marvel Studios won't choose to stick them in Doom armor for reasons, whatever those reasons might be. So it could be Black Swan that are the females running around in Doom-like armor. There's also Doom bots. Maybe for whatever reason, there are female Doom bots. The mind of Doom is not knowable. So that's a possibility. There's a version of Dark Phoenix that had a gold mask, which, because remember, Josh said his source told him that there are going to be female Doominess and they're going to have gold masks. But in the comics, it was a version of Dark Phoenix that was wearing a gold Doom-like mask. I believe that was the Avengers Forever run. So while the initial report was like, God damn it, Marvel, have you learned nothing? With more, I guess, details that come out, mostly due to Rickman's qualification that he never said variants. Now, it doesn't mean that they aren't variants. It just means he didn't say it. But if we follow the line of thought that when he says, I never said variants, means that they are not, A, that makes this a lot less worse. And B, it opens up a lot of actual cool options. In my mind. But if there actually are literal, legit variants of Doom, or at least a variant, maybe, they're going to have to do such an insanely good job of making it organic and making it make sense and using an appropriate level of exposure, not the fun kind when it comes to the ladies. If they're actually doing that, the number of ways it can go right are vastly outnumbered by the ways it could go wrong. They're going to have to be very, 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 very careful. And it's going to have to make good, more sense than just multiverse variants can be whatever. Poof, female Doom. Like, they got kind of lucky when it came to Sylvie in the Loki show. And even though they did a pretty decent job with her overall, like they, in my mind, she was a fairly organic character. Made sense to have her in there. They used her arc in a decent way to embody a certain point of view, which helps. But even with all that going in Sylvie's favor, she still is not that popular a character. Like, let's be real. Probably a lot of the reason Marvel, besides the fact that they actually did a reasonably decent job at creating her character and arcing her character, the only other reason they were able to get away with that was because they were still very early in the Disney Plus era. Loki was second, maybe third show to come out, period. So people had not been exposed to all of Marvel's fuckery at that point. Now, in the year of our Lord 2025, there has been a shit ton of exposing of Marvel's fuckery. So these situations are not the same. So they're gonna have to be damn careful, and they're gonna have to bring in a female Doom variant. With a more organic entry than multiverse. That's the reason. Multiverse. And there she is. Done. That would be lame. That's just not the proper way to handle a character of any kind, of any look, of any gender, of any religion, what have you. That's just not how you fucking do it. It's how they've been doing it for too goddamn long, and they need to fucking knock it off. So, I hate when I'm being forced into certain positions. For example, I hate being forced to root for a team I don't like when them doing a good thing helps my team. Like, for example, a division game between the Vikings, whose record sucks, and the Packers, who are right behind my Lions in the race for the NFC North. I don't like either team, but I would be forced to root for the Vikings in that situation. Even though when it comes down to it, I'd rather they both somehow find a way to lose. But yeah, I don't like being forced to root for things that I wouldn't normally. But in this situation, I am forced to root for Gary from Nerdrotic to be correct. And for them to not be doing this. Or at least for him to be correct that they won't be doing a literal female Doom. Now, you can bring in all the variants of Doom you want. Personally, I wouldn't bother with variants of Doom. I'd just be doing Doom bots. Like, if I'm going to have a fuck ton of Dooms, just, do it the way Doom did it. There's one Doom and a fuck ton of Doom bots who think they're Doom, but they're not. But yeah, Doom bots is the way to go. And if you think about it, that was kind of sort of teased at Downey's Interruption, because they had all those people dressed up as Doom, and then they brought Downey out in a slightly different outfit to differentiate him. And then he, whipped his mask off and was like, here I am. But, just the fact that there's all those Dooms there kind of hints at, like, Doom bots are going to be a thing. And when you consider how much Doom's trying to accomplish in Doomsday, they kind of have to be a thing. You know what I mean? So, I'm hoping Gary's right. I'm hoping it's just a bunch of fucking Doom bots. And I hope there is not a literal female variant of Doom. Not because I'm against women. Not because I'm against the idea of a female Doom in general. It would just be the wrong choice at the worst time. That's all there is to my opinion on that. It would be the worst choice at the worst possible time. But there's a chance it's not true and that it'll be something else, like a black swan or two. Or I think Josh was really reaching when he was matching up what he was told about a gold female character in a gold Doomish mask. About that being Dark Phoenix from Avengers Forever. There's literally no point in including Dark Phoenix in any way, shape, or form in Doomsday. Like none. So yeah, that's kind of it. It really needs to not be true, in my opinion. And again, that comes down to timing and nothing more. What do you think, chat? What do you think? Oh yeah, we need Doombots. No female Dooms since Brennan. Yeah, not now. Okay. You guys want to talk about the X-Men plot leak before we go? You know what? Nah, fuck it. Oh shit. Hey guys, back to a 3-hour stream. Hooty hoo! Yeah, that's it for the planned subjects, chat. Share your thoughts, share your questions, share your concerns. Bring up something I haven't talked about. Whatever you want to do. Barely want to see Tony Stark / Victor Von Doom adopted or whatever plot device they're going to use. I'm curious to see how they're actually going to handle that. Like, as long as it's not lame, I'll be fine. But if they do it in a lame way, I'm going to be pissed off, and y'all are going to hear about it. That's for damn sure. That is for damn sure. I agree. Tony being Doom variant makes a lot more sense than Doom being Tony variant. I mean, there's ways that they can make both work, but did I use AI for my stream thumbnail? Yes, I did. Well, I used it to generate the female picture of Doom. That's it. The rest of it was Adobe Express. Free version. So, partially. Yeah, I chat GPT'd the female Doom picture. Actually, it's funny. That's like the second or third version I did. The first time I asked it for a version of that, the female Doom looked a fuck ton like Gal Gadot. Like it generated that picture, and I was like, wait, what? It literally looked like Gal Gadot. I was like, that's interesting. I mean, the one I currently have, the one I used actually still does a little, but the first one it generated, it literally looked like Gal Gadot took off her Wonder Woman uniform and put on a Doom costume and called it a day. It was kind of weird. Yeah. All right, chat. Well, it's a work night, so if you guys don't have anything else, I'm gonna get the fuck on out this bitch. It was fun though. It's nice to have like a normal length basement stream. I know they've been shorter lately, but that's not my fault because there's been no goddamn news. So we'll see what pops up the next couple days, and then we'll go over it on Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Yeah. All right, chat. Last chance. If not, I'm going to get the hell out of here, smoke a hoo-hoo, and go to bed. C-Dub, I agree with Tony being a Doom variant. It's honestly the only option that makes any sense. At least it makes the most sense. If we are wrong, hopefully they'll come up with a better twist. Yes, I agree. I mean, if they do go with the multiverse and shit happens like that sometimes and they're not actually related in any way, shape, or form other than random multiverse chance giving that particular Doom Tony's face, I suppose I could live with that. It would be lame. It would be lame. But I wouldn't it wouldn't make me hate the movie. It would definitely be something I would list as a flaw, though. That's for damn sure. Yeah, Brooke dropped the Discord link. Yep, if you haven't joined that, folks, join it. If you haven't subbed to the channel, sub. If you didn't hit the like button, hit the fucking like button. Pretty please and thank you. That'd be great. That'd be great. All right, chat. I'm going to get the fuck out. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging so damn long. Appreciate it a lot. You guys are dope. Thanks for being part of this community. Thanks for listening to me. Yeah. I mean, time is precious. And you all just, or at least a lot of you, chose to just spend 3 hours of it here in the basement, which is amazing. Thank you. Have a good rest of your week. And we'll see you right back here at 10 p.m. Saturday evening, Eastern Standard Time. Aye, aye. Much love, y'all. Have a good one. Bye. Oh, shit. Forgive me for tooting my own horn, but I think that was a dub stream, y'all. Hope you had fun. I have a hard time believing RDJ would come back with the Roosters to play Dr. Freaking Doom if there wasn't believing. Oh, 100%. RDJ does not fuck around, bro. He's not even come back just for shits and giggles. It's going to be dope, or he wouldn't do it. So, yeah, totally. I 100% agree. All right, y'all. I had a good goddamn time. I hope you did. Again, thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to spend your precious time here in the basement listening to me yap. It's awesome. It was the stream. Okay. Well, it's better than shitty. Thanks, C-Dub. All right. You guys have a good rest of your week. We'll see you Saturday night at 10. But until then, remember, wherever you're at and whoever you're with, always keep it nerdy. Much love, y'all. Peace.